How's it going, YouTube? Oxy here, and welcome back. So, with 2022 coming to an end, and it being a year of some good movies, I think so. And, me being a movie buff, I'd say, I like watching movies. What more fitting than to give you my top 5 movies of 2022? Now, before I start, I guess so. What is the criteria? Obviously, a movie that came out in the year of 2022, and streaming exclusive movies count. They are movies. You'll see why. Obviously, there may be one or two in the list, but yeah. So a movie came out 2022. Gotcha. So without further ado, my number 5 top film of the year, Scream. Scream 5, right? It's just called Scream. What can I say? I really enjoyed it. Scream as a franchise is pretty consistent when it comes to horror. You don't really see that, whether it's your Halloween or Friday the 13th. Most of them are garbage. Like, look, I love, Friday the 13th, but most of them are trash, right? It's the same thing over and over, but we're there for the killing. But Scream's case, it took it meta. Now, it wasn't the first, like, for example, Friday the 13th Part 6 did it before. But, yeah, Wes Craven, creator of Scream and The Nightmare on Elm Street, he took horror into kind of just like, he made the first one as like a commentary on the horror genre, like the tropes, the characters literally being like, oh, like this is what you do and don't do. And then of course it has the whole like murder mystery or like who done it, in the sense of like who is the killer, right? Because we're always presented it. And yeah, it's a cool franchise. All the characters are related. It really helps that they're always recurring. But yeah, Scream 5, I really enjoyed it. It was the first one without Wes Craven. Rest in peace. And I think they did a fantastic job in continuing the legacy. And I will give them props. So spoilers, they did kill Dewey, which hey, I'll give them that. Because in most franchises, the main characters are untouchable, but it's good. It shows like, stakes, and that, hey, eventually, like, these actors won't be around forever. The rumors that Neve Campbell won't come back for Scream 6, or is not coming back, I should say. It's like, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. The killers, good, and I'm looking forward to where this new phase of the Scream franchise goes. Again, being that Wes Craven has moved on, passed on, sorry, and these without him. 5, I think, was a good starting point. And 6 is obviously gonna more focus on our new characters, who I like. I like the survivors. Mindy's a standout. So we'll see where it goes. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. And it was one of the few horror movies that were great, I think. So my number 4 pick for, film of 2022, The Batman. What is there to say? Matt Reeves did a fantastic job at giving us another Caped Crusader story. And look, I gotta thank him and, everyone involved. Like, thank you for not making it an origin story. That's one thing about, like, Batman or Superman. Well, I guess any superhero Marvel did with Spider-Man. It's like, bruh, we get the origin. You don't have to keep giving it to me. Like, I know that his parents die, by the movie theater. Like, I get it. The pearl necklace, like, yeah, like, Batman is an emo kid with issues. I get it. Like, that's the one thing that's like, with superheroes is like, they always just tell the same thing over and over. And for once, we get a story of an up and kind of coming Batman who is like, we see him struggle. Like, there's a scene where, of course, he's played by Robert Pattinson, where he falls off his bike because he's still getting used to things. I like that. It's new, something different. It was a good story. I think they tied it well into modern times with like the Riddler. he was kind of meme worthy, but again, it's like I could definitely believe some Gen Z kid from now becoming something like that, some radical, but very beautiful movie. I will say the cinematography is great. Some really great scenes. One near the end that I love is like, again, Batman with the flare and like the people, like, because it's like a sunken, I think it was like a stadium or something. What is being flooded, and of course he's like that beacon of light in the city of darkness, Gotham. That was really beautiful, poetic even. But yeah, like it was great. It was refreshing to have something new in terms of Batman. And I will say that with this, with Matt Reeves, the Batman, which may piss off a lot of fans, but like the world just felt so real. Now, no discredit to Christopher Nolan and his Dark Knight trilogy. It's up there, some of the best. You know, a lot of people give Heath Ledger's credit. Rest in peace, deserved. But I just gotta say, in this one movie, like it just all the characters, like Falcone, like Selena Kyle, right, Catwoman, the Penguin, like they're all intertwined. They all know each other. It felt like a real world. Like these were real characters, not literal comic book, like, you know, like, oh, I'm a bad guy. They felt like real people, real things, like seeing the Batmobile, but then facing traffic. It's like that would really happen. It's not like these movies where he's zooming around Gotham and there's nobody in the street. Like, no, it's gonna be rush hour. Like, it was refreshing, a new take, you know, a realistic one, which, you know, isn't necessary. I appreciate it, but again, it was just great to see a new direction for, you know, the Gotham Knight. And I can't wait for the sequel. I do believe it was confirmed. I could be wrong, but I hope they do it justice. Maybe we see more characters. I'm intrigued what they would do as like Clayface, Mr. Freeze, these more fantastical characters, how they incorporate it, or maybe they don't. But we'll see. It'll be, yeah, The Batman. Great movie, great superhero movie. Go check it out. My number 3 pick for top film of 2022, Prey. Now, I was worried about this movie. Of course, this is the Hulu exclusive. There's that whole, it can be streaming. Predator prequel titled Prey. You know, made by 20th Century Fox. It was in production before Disney bought it, so they allowed them to finish it. Good on them. And yeah, it was just, I loved it. It was great. It's how you do a Predator movie now, especially after the 2018 Shane Black's The Predator, which is confusing because it's like, bruh, he's a cast member from the original movie, you know? What was he? Hicks? The nerdy guy, the one that makes the pussy joke. Yeah, like that's him, and he went on to write this movie, but yeah, it just felt off, I guess, or like, yeah, it was disjointed. Of all the Predator movies, I think the Predator is probably the weakest, the worst one. But yeah, Prey definitely up there with, for me, 1 and 2 are great. Predators 2010 is okay, like it's a lot of fun. It does something new, which again we like over here. But yeah, Prey, really great period piece, again taking place in like the 1700s with the Comanche tribe, you know, Native Americans. That was really cool, and it does set the precedent for, you can literally put the Predator in different time periods like that. Like, just imagine the Predator in feudal Japan facing ninjas or samurais, or, I don't know, in the time of the Knights Templar or Vikings. You could do a lot with that, which would be awesome to see. But I will give props to this Prey that they did a female lead justice, like especially an action movie lead, and yeah, like, so, you know, a lot of times Hollywood will like to go very woke with female characters, and you know, it's like it kind of takes away from it. It's like, look, just give me a good movie. I don't care if my protagonist is male, female, non-binary. It does not matter. Just give me good characters, and I'm there. And I think they achieved that. There were that small minority trying to make it something more like, oh, how could this girl, fake kill a predator is physically stronger than men, but she outsmarts it, which I think they did in a really clever way. Throughout the movie, you're paying attention, you see, okay, she learns, like, oh, that's what that does, and then at the end, boom, she uses it to her advantage. I love the feral predator's design, but yeah, I gotta say, this is probably the first time I've seen, although it's not a reboot, it's a prequel to all the other movies. Similar to like Bumblebee, I guess, for Transformers, where they're said before, but they're kind of like a reintroduction, kind of like, hey, let's rebrand, but it is part of the same story. Similar to that, I think 20th Century Studios did a fantastic job. If they ever do a sequel, which I think they have to, because if I'm not wrong, Prey broke Hulu records as like the most streamed or viewed anything on their platform up to that point. I don't know now if it still holds it, but yeah, it did really well. So I hope for a sequel, get a proper theatrical release. And, NECA, when are you coming out with that figure? You guys have talked about it. Let's see it. But Prey, highly recommend it. It's on Hulu, so if you have it or you have your siblings, check it out. It's a lot of fun, and it does the Predator franchise justice. My number 2 film of the year. Now, before I talk about these two, I gotta say, this is really 1A, 1B scenario. Both of these films, 10 out of 10s, in my opinion. Like, must see, like, go see them. I absolutely love them. And neither of them are really what I would say is my type of movie. And despite that, I can still acknowledge that these were just true, like, beautiful pieces of art, and I really loved them. So, very hard on any given day. These could be swapped, really 1A, 1B, but for the purpose of the numbering, number 2, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Man, I was not expecting that, like, experience with that film. So it had an early release. Of course, it was distributed by A24, indie darling studio, coming out with some pretty good movies, I'll say. They have a good track record. I do, like, my ears perk up whenever I see they're making a new movie. Not all of them are for me, but I will say the majority, really great. But yeah, distributed by them. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is just, man, it's a roller coaster of emotions. You literally, like, I don't know, I've never seen it so perfectly encapsulated, like action, comedy, like drama, or like, like sad. Like, man, it got me, like, especially the scenes with the mother and daughter. But the film is about, I forget the lead's name, but played by Michelle Yeoh, who needs no introduction. She's awesome. Great. And then the guy, which I hate that I don't remember their names, but he was in Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. He's a little kid, and the crazy thing is he hasn't acted since that movie. Yes, he has been involved in the film industry as a stunt coordinator, but acting, this is his first movie back since that, like the 80s. Insane. Like, it's like over 30 years or something. But despite that, he never misses a beat. Seriously, it's a really great movie. It's about an Asian mother, Asian family, really, and kind of her contempt or just disappointment in life, Like, you could tell she lives a very kind of like struggle life, right? Like, they're getting by. She's older, and she has that fear of, like, did I really let my life go? Or, regrets, right? Like, did I waste my life? She has, daughter problems. And throughout the movie, it explores a multiverse, which, yeah, it's crazy. And I gotta say, this movie does it better than Marvel, DC could ever dream of doing. Seriously, fantastic. It was so good. Like, seriously, the character work that Michelle Yeoh and our boy from Indiana Jones, I'll put his name here, they do is fantastic because they're switching, like, oh, I'm from a different universe, and like, seriously, really great. But it's a beautiful film with a great message of what I took as like kind of camaraderie, family. You know, it's like despite anything you're going through in life, take a minute, like breathe. Like life is short. Enjoy like the time you have with your family, and you can achieve more. Like it is. Life isn't worth being like bitter or angry at others or yourself. It's like love yourself, and yeah, it's a really beautiful movie, really great. The visuals, everything. Jamie Lee Curtis is a treat in this movie. She has great scenes. And then like James Hong is in it too. He's like the grandfather again, really funny. The daughter, I'm not familiar with the actress, but she did a fantastic job. She's like the villain at some point. Really fun movie. I cannot recommend it enough. If you want a more detailed version, I did review it on the channel way back. Check it out. But yeah, 10 out of 10. Great film. You will not regret it. And my number one best film of 2022. And it hasn't even been out for that long. The Whale, starring Brendan Fraser, which good for him, great guy. Like, especially if you're of like my age, early 2000s, you remember the Mummy franchise. He was the lead, a lot of fun. I was scared of that movie as a kid because the Mummy used to terrify me. But yeah, it's a fun series. And maybe younger fans, you might know him as Journey to the Center of the Earth, right? He was the lead in that too. But after that, like the 2010s, you could say his career took kind of he stepped out of the spotlight, maybe playing minor roles and that sort of thing. He has put on some weight, I guess, I could say that. And, people just thought of him as almost even like washed up. But man, does Brendan Fraser prove everybody wrong. Another A24 movie, again, great studio. Check them out whenever they come out with something. Yeah, like similar to Uncut Gems, another A24, with Adam Sandler, where you take an actor who maybe isn't known, like in Adam Sandler's case, right? People, you think, oh, the guy can't act, all his movies are tax write-offs, right? They're just a vacation. He only hires his friends. Like, yeah, they're just one big tax write-off. But then you put him in a movie like that, and like he's like, woohoo! Uncut Gems is great. Go check it out. But seriously, The Whale, like, there's not enough I can say about Brendan Fraser. In my opinion, best actor, easy, period. There is no competition. It's a story of, The Whale, like an obese man who, has an estranged daughter, right? Like, he's divorced. He doesn't see her much. And it's just about their relationship, and same with his ex-wife. And yeah, it's this big guy who has neglected his health. And yeah, the story's just about like a week of his life and what entails. I can't give away too much. It's like that good of a film. But again, the acting from Brendan Fraser, outstanding. Seriously, it's a sad movie. Like, I'm more of an action, sci-fi type of guy, like adventure movie. But I can't deny this was like beautiful. Like, oh man, like even thinking about it, like I choke up a bit. Like seriously, that if you're someone who gets emotional during movies, that's a hard watch. Like that one's a really, like by the end of it, you're like bawling like a baby. So good. Similar in that movie, because his character kind of is like being a bigger guy. He's more like, has this like resentment towards the world, right? Like nobody cares about me. I'm worthless. And throughout the film, you see that people do care, you know? Even if they don't know you, they really do. And it makes you think about real life. I know real life, we all go through hardships, but there's always someone out there that cares, you know? Just being like good people, human to human. But it's a very sad tale, a very beautiful one. I love it because it shows that as humans, we're not black and white. We're all gray, you know? Like yin yang, right? Like there in good people there's some bad and bad there's some good. Like we're not all perfect. That's what makes us human. But it's a really great film that just shows that kind of like the layers of people of who we are and you know why we do things, and it's a really great film. All I'll say is that again, the reason I have it at number one is just because outstanding performance, and I will say the whole movie takes place in like one location, like a house, mainly in one room for like a good over half, you know. But yeah, one house pretty much the whole movie, but it keeps you entertained. It's a good story. It's yeah. Again, I cannot give Brendan Fraser enough praise. Best actor easily. The Whale, seriously, of all of these, go see it. It just came out I believe December 21st, like in all its theater, like right, like in mass, whatever. Go see it. If you gotta see one movie, that one. I really loved it. Again, another 10 out of 10. Really beautiful movie, and I think more people should go see it. But yeah, guys, that was the video. I know, kind of more of a discussion or just giving my thoughts, nothing crazy, but tell me if you agree. 2022 has been a fun year. The channel's grown quite a bit, and just thank you, everyone. Of course, this isn't the last video of the year. That'll be next week's, which will be a treat, a cool thing to end the year on. But just thankful to everybody for all the support, and here's to a great 2023 and beyond. But yeah, guys, that's the video. If you like this type of content, I make new ones every Tuesday and Saturday. So please be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good jazz. And as always, everyone, I've been your host, Oxy. Take care, and I'll see you next time.